I would describe her as a visionary. She really gave herself the time and space to become an independent person, and I think live out the ideals that she so believed in.
She had an avid curiosity for learning. And what she did by framing this college is allowed women from 1926 onward to pursue their own avenue for curiosity, steeped in the humanities, which was so important to her, a humanistic approach to learning.
She didn't do what other women of her generation did. So, for example, she went to college in the 1850s, which is so early. Women just didn't do that.
She went to school at Knox College in Illinois and then went on to work in the family's newspaper business, where she did a number of things, including editing and writing.
And again, this is a period in the 1870s when women typically did not work in journalism. And the result was, of course, luckily for her, a great deal of money, because it was her investments in the Scripps Papers that allowed her this extraordinary life of philanthropy. She thought of philanthropy really as kind of a grassroots effort. She really valued social responsibility, and particularly the idea that we should act in ways that benefit the community rather than just ourselves.
At a relatively late stage of her life, she moved to San Diego, bought property, and essentially started anew. She saw her newfound home of California as an inspiring place and believed in its future and its growth.
Intellectual curiosity led her to establish the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, which is today one of the world's leading centers for Earth and climate research. It led to Scripps Research, which focused on biomedical and life sciences. She joined the National Women's Suffrage Association in 1873, very shortly after the suffrage movement started. And she was very much an environmentalist. She championed the preservation of an exceptional grove of Torrey pines, which are located just on the headlands north of La Jolla.
She contributed funds to the ACLU. She contributed funds to the Audubon Society. And so I think she believed in a future where people would be able to learn from each other.
So when she gave money, she gave it with no strings attached. So, for example, she gave Scripps College absolute liberty, those are her words, absolute liberty to shape students' education and experiment with whole new fields of study.
Ellen Browning Scripps was already a donor to Pomona College when James Blaisdell, who was then president of Pomona, came up with the idea to develop adjacent campuses. And so Scripps College was one of the first to be developed as part of that plan. They built the graduate school, which opened in 1925, and then Scripps College opened in 1926.
All of those ideas that she had in 1926 still radiate within this environment of this college. The passion for learning, the lifelong learning, the curiosity, all of those 100 years later, and specifically the intent to educate women. It is such a critical issue for women to be able to be educated within a women's college for all of the leadership roles, and that the beauty of the Claremont colleges is to be able to do that within a broader co-educational environment.
The Claremont colleges were the last of her many gifts, but I think perhaps the most meaningful to her personally. She really did believe that higher education had the potential to build community across difference and to help create a better world.